Hello, everyone. So today I was thinking of doing this intro in a different way. So I'm recording this after the podcast. So I've already had this conversation, and it was amazing. But I wanted to tell you a story of the pre-conversation about what happened. So I was really excited about this because Andreas is like a huge guest for us, and he has done amazing things. So I was already really nervous, and we're getting everything set up. And I'm not very techy with the cameras, so I know that I know my things. Like I have a bullet point list. Okay, I have to make sure that this is doing this. So I set up the cameras, and in order for them to balance to be in the right spot, I know that something in the middle needs to be green, and it was orange 2 seconds before the podcast was beginning, and he was already getting here. He was like a minute away, and I was already getting super nervous. I was sweating. I had a bunch of pimples too, so I don't know, everything wasn't going my way kind of. And then when he's coming here, I was like, okay, it's whatever. The balance, it isn't that big of a deal. We can still easily do it, and it won't affect anything. And right as he's coming, I look at the mirror and I get this self-conscious crisis, and I start to think oh, my hair, oh my god. And so I just do this or whatever, and my hair just ended up being like this the whole conversation. So it was just weird, but that really doesn't matter because I just thought it was funny to tell. And then Andreas came here. He was a total gentleman. We talked for an hour, and yeah, it was amazing. And even after we finished, we just sat here for 20 minutes just talking too about life. So it was a really, really special moment for me because it reminded me of the how powerful conversations really are. So just the backstory on Andreas. So he has launched 10 companies. 7 of them worked, 3 did not, and he has been in some really cool industries. He has sold companies for amounts that I can even imagine, and he had a really tough experience in life, and he came out the other side of it in a really positive way, this enlightenment. And we talked about staying in the present, the importance, because you always hear that we need to stay in the present, but you never hear a solution for it. And Andreas explained it beautifully. And but the most important thing, I think, he has this beautiful family, and he's so proud of where he is in life now. And I could really, it was just I don't know, it was a happy conversation. I hope you feel the same way when you leave this. So yeah, let's it's such a blessing to have spent time with him, and let's just sit here and learn how the soulful Andreas von Estorff made his own momentum happen. I'm gonna stay right here, and I don't need maybe,
It's good microphone.
Yeah,
I think it's good.
The mount's good too. They're cheap,
Yeah, it's
and
cool.
Yeah,
it's really good. Yeah, it's very professional. It is improvised for the room.
Thank you.
But
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think the whole setup is very professional.
Yeah, I worked all summer to try and save money, and it was really cool because I got to bartend and do a bunch of cool things that I had never done before. I worked at a company as well, and yeah, I was so motivated because I didn't like what I was doing, but I knew that I was doing it for a reason. So it was just, I don't know, it was kind of fun.
And passion.
Yeah,
it's good.
It was inspirational summer.
Yeah.
Okay, first, thank you so much for being here and for taking the time to join us. And while I was researching you, and before we get into, because I love to start in getting to know how you made your own momentum happen to the person I'm seeing today. While I was researching you, you've been to on so many podcasts. It doesn't matter the field, the size of these podcasts, you just show up like a total gentleman, and you always put out a great show, and it's always a great episode. Doesn't matter which one it is that I saw, and there was a couple of them. What makes you what's the motivation behind saying yes to that? Is it entrepreneurial help? Why do you say yes to go on so many of them?
It's because I have an age and I reach certain things where I have the desire to give back and to share my experience. And I think there's so much that I learned that you don't learn at school or in the uni, that young founders and any person who is manager or entrepreneur should take advantage of my learnings. Sometimes tough learnings, but the tough ones are the most important ones.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to say that because I think it's cool to have someone that is just out there and wants to help people out, and I think it's a cool thing to mention. So you took mechanical engineering. You grew up in Germany. You took mechanical engineering and then a master's in business administration slash economics. Then you went to Miami, took a little bit there. Um, and then you end up becoming this successful serial entrepreneur. But I'm curious to the why behind it. Growing up in Germany, what kind of like inspirations did you have to like go and take a less conventional path, I would say, than is usual in Europe? Because people in Europe usually are, they want to go for the safe thing, go for the job. What was it about your experience that made it differently?
I think there's something inside of me and of an entrepreneur that is different from other people, that you feel like you want to do something on your own, you want certain freedom. On the other hand, you don't feel very comfortable to work for the boss in a big company and just do a 9 to 5 job. Yeah, there's something I knew that I'm rather an entrepreneur, rather a free spirit who wants to do something. My father was a manager in a big company, so he was not an entrepreneur, but in our family, we had a lot of architects and also entrepreneurs. I think there's something in my DNA that had this also like creativity. I want to create something. Mm-hmm. So I think I felt very early, even during the studies, I did my little businesses. I started things and always felt like whenever I had an idea, I wanted to do it. It was not enough to just think about and observe how other people do something. I wanted to do my own stuff. So I think it's an inner driven passion. To be an entrepreneur.
It wasn't external. You didn't see anyone like.
No.
It was just.
No. It was just intuition, and I wanted to do it. I very clear. I did 2 interviews after my studies, just because my father said like you should do it. For parents, always better to have a good job and a good salary. And I felt in the 2 interviews, there was nice people, and I think I did well. But I felt that's not mine. Not mine. Working for another company, I want to do my own thing.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because. I mean, most of the people now in my generation, I feel like a lot of them want to be entrepreneurs and they tell their parents. And whenever I tell my mom that I want to, like, I don't know if I want to go for because I've worked at a big company and I don't know if I want to go and do that like right after university. I might want to explore different things and try things like this. And my mom just gets so scared. And as a parent yourself, what do you think? What advice do you tell your kids? Like, is it the safe one, or maybe you could just go try something else?
Nothing is safe. Also, working for companies is safe. You can work for the wrong company, and I mean, the question is, what is success, and what do you want to achieve? For me, success is if you do something you enjoy to do, and you survive with it. Yeah, so you don't have to be rich. I think the wrong perception today with many young people who want to be entrepreneurs, they think of startups and exits, and they want to make millions within a couple of years. I think that's the wrong KPI. That can happen, but it happens very rarely, to be honest. But doing something that you really love to do, that is your passion, have an idea and just make it happen, try and error, yeah, and also be ready for failing. That's life. I think as an adventure, I think entrepreneurship is great. Mm-hmm. You take an adventure. Just make sure that you pay your rent at the end of the month, and there's certain ways to do it. The safest is always to not increase costs. Yeah, so live in a small apartment or live with a friend or with a family as long as you can. Keep the costs low so you can experience entrepreneurship without the pressure of having to make a lot of money at the beginning, because it's very hard to make money as an entrepreneur if you start from scratch. Yeah. So be careful with that. So if you're careful and you don't have this pressure, then you have all the freedom. You can wake up whenever you want. You can work 12 hours, 5 hours, 20 hours. Nobody cares. And it just feels like life. It doesn't feel like work. It feels like it's part of your life.
Yeah. And you had a lot of it, because I don't know if this is correct, and feel free to tell me if I'm wrong, but throughout your life, you launched 10 businesses. 7 of them worked and 3 didn't. And and there's so much to go there. But instead of like going through each one of them, I'm fascinated about like startups and the ups and downs about it. Like for me, there are 2 things. I love actors and I love entrepreneurs. Because I feel like there's such like an inner motivation behind like the strength that it takes to get through something like that. Because in the beginning, sure, it's super exciting and everything is wonderful. But then you hear these stories of like people that slept in their cars, or they had to do like just things that I can't even imagine. And now, of course, I look at them and they're like, wow, super successful. Everything's amazing. But I think it's I love to hear the stories of when it was a little bit harder. So some of my questions are, your first like startup, your first company, what was the context behind it? What did you want it to do? What was the inspiration?
So I think I did. I'm a bit naive as an entrepreneur. There was no like real concept behind it. I just take an idea and suddenly I feel like I want to do that. So my very, very first company was a company in the fashion industry where a friend of mine came from the US, and they had these T-shirts with the university logos on it, like the big universities, and was Americans were very proud of wearing the university logo, and in Europe that was not happening. In Germany, nobody would have a logo of the university in there. So he said, like, let's do that. So we did it. We printed 200 T-shirts. We went first to the university. We got the license, and then we went on the campus, put a table there, and tried to sell them. And within a day, they were all sold. Like, wow, that's really good, you know. So this was just not we started a company. We just did something, and then it turned out to work. And then we started a company called Campus Sportswear. We went out and tried to get all the licenses from all the universities in Germany. This was how many things that I started happened. Yeah. So then I met my wife. She wanted to go to Miami. This was, by the way, during my studies still, this company. And then I decided to just give my shares to my friend, and I dropped it, and I went to Miami with my wife, and I did my thesis there and started something new. So it's a bit random. So I'm not a very traditional entrepreneur. So I would say that the second company after my studies was probably the more serious, like entrepreneurial approach.
Yeah. And you met your wife early on? You were still in undergrad degree?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm married for 31 years now.
Wow. That's
four kids.
That's so cool. And do you think, because some people, they want to have like a family or maybe settle down with a wife later on in life, like they want to wait, they want to enjoy life until they're like 30. Do you think, what were the benefits of like starting early, of having this like partnership as early on as you had?
You mean a relationship with?
Relationship.
I mean, relationships, we all have early relationships. The question is if you stay,
Exactly.
if you marry, if you have a serious relationship. In my case, it was kind of obvious. I had some not so significant relationships before, and I just felt this is it. And also we got, my wife got pregnant, was very, very young. So there was also kind of clear that if you want to have a family, and I wanted to have a family, then this is the right one, you know. So the combination of having a family and having a child and finding the right partner, and for me always clear that I want to have a family. So I had this concept of family, which also I raised. I was lucky to grow up in a family that was, let's say, healthy. I was the parents they still live, and they were married for many years. And so I had a good concept in mind for the family, and I wanted that for me as well. So then if you find the right partner, you go for it. And until today, it feels perfect.
That's beautiful. And I think all of your businesses, they were kind of like a combination of fashion and tech innovation. Or not fashion, more like creative field, like partnership, media, fashion.
Yeah.
What is about like that combination that feels right for you?
It's a good question. I think in my family there are a lot of architects. I was always asking myself, why am I attracted to this combination of technology and creativity, and also artists? So I think this is an architect also is a combination of both. Yeah, you build something beautiful, but you also have to make sure it works and it's stable, and you need to use technology. So I think this part is kind of my DNA. But then I'm also fascinated I'm creative myself. I think I want to create things. I love to design. I love these things. But I studied engineering, so I'm good at tech. Yeah, I would say I'm not a super techie, but I'm good at tech. So then I found out that somebody in the creative field who is good at tech is a very unique selling point. You don't have many people. Normally you have the creatives who are like the crazy creatives, who are like super creative, but tech like no. And then you have techies who have no creative eye, who don't understand how creative thinks. So I was kind of this mix. So in both worlds, I could bring both together, and that was my opportunity. And then my wife also was in the modeling industry. So when we met each other, she was modeling. So she brought me into this industry, and then I found my first opportunities.
What's the feeling of selling a company? Because I've always like, I feel like, I don't know, you worked so hard for so many years, and I'm sorry if the question seems kind of dumb, but sometimes I just like to like dumb it down a lot because I like to get to the root of things, and
No, that's okay.
yeah, I'm kind of dyslexic. So, but yeah, what is it like to sell a company? What's that feeling? Is it like I made it?
It's different than you expect, I think. I can only talk for myself, and then we can share maybe an experience from somebody else. I just was on a panel of 3 people who didn't exit, and I had to ask these questions. So for myself, it was very early. It was like my second company. It kind of happened very fast. This was a company where we were specialized in video digitalization. So we just basically took VHS and beta tapes and made MPEGs and AVIs, which in this time was like something very new because the first websites came out. They needed videos on the website, and we did live with the webcam live broadcasting.
Yeah.
And then one of our clients, BBDO, is an advertising network, international, very big. They had the need to have more tech people. Our team, they think we did a good job, and they just offered us to buy, and I did it. So and suddenly I had money, and I was not in the company anymore. First of all, I was like, wow, that's cool. What can I do now? I decided to have a sabbatical, have another child. We moved to Barcelona. It felt good, but not like this kind of, wow, I made it. I mean, it was 28 or 29, so I didn't want to say, I retire. Also, the money was not like for retiring all life, but it was good money for my age. So I think it now when I look back, I think I should have celebrated it more. I should have be more conscious about it. Like just say, "Hey, wow, you did this," and now not like saying I'm the greatest, but just take a break, yeah, and enjoy what you did, and now start something new. But I don't know. I just took it and had started immediately. Like, okay, what can I do next with my life? Because I'm driven by passion. I never, and even now, my age, I'm not thinking like I retire in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. I think I will be an entrepreneur until my last breath of my life.
Yeah.
So that's how I felt it, and then it depends, of course, on the size of the exit, if the company is doing well afterwards as well. Yeah. So in this panel I just mentioned was from Esade. I had 3 people who all did an exit, and one did an exit, I would say, about between 50 and 100 million, like a lot of money.
Damn.
And his quote, and we talked before, and he did a quote, said, okay, can you do this quote on the stage as a starter, because it's really good. He said, like, the day after I sold my company, I had this amount of money on my account, but I felt empty and unemployed. So he was really struggling. He said, like, he had the hardest time afterwards to get back to life, because money didn't really matter for him anymore, but he lost his kind of family, because his family was his co-founder, and the 2-3 people he worked most with in this team. His friends were the rest of the team, and his day-to-day was just doing calls, sales, organizing team, management. He was so much in 2-3 years into the company that he didn't have a life anymore afterwards. So first of all, it's like emptiness. Like, so that's, he said, like, recommended to make sure that you maintain a life beside your company. Yeah, it's very dangerous, and many people have seen that a lot. I think 50% of the entrepreneurs who sell the company for, let's say, higher amount are kind of failing in life afterwards. Alcoholics, depression, suicide, not getting back anymore, whatever. So it's not like this is just super party. Yeah? Money is nice, but you need something that really fills you and is worth waking up. Money is not the reason to wake up on the account.
When you got here to Barcelona, what was the thing that so you sell your company, and you're probably experiencing some of the emotions that you described now of this, what am I going to do now? Of course, you moved to Barcelona, new city, excitement again. But what was that for you? How did you go from unemployed, like you said, to, okay, I need to find something to do? How did you do that?
Yeah, I didn't feel unemployed. I felt, okay, this was a quote from this other founder who sells company for 50 or more million. I felt free. I mean, I was happy that I did the deal, and I was proud of what I did with this company, and also to have a new start in Barcelona with my family and everything. So yeah, but I had so many ideas. I always have so many ideas. I could start 5 companies now if I wanted, not because I want, because just from the ideas, from the, like, but I don't do it anymore because it's stupid. It's like starting a company is not is one step, but it requires a lot of other steps. Yes, with a lot of responsibility. Yeah, I would say like it's like throwing a stone in the water is one thing, but then the waves that come afterwards, yeah, they come. You cannot avoid them. So if you start a company, it's the first step, but you have a lot of things afterwards. So I don't know. I think it just every stage had this up and downs, and for me, this stage probably the first sale and these first years in Barcelona was great because I could dedicate more time to my family, and then the next business I started, I did with my wife, together with my wife, which was also nice. So we had a lot of time together.
Awesome. And what about the downs? Because, of course, when you start a lot of companies, some of them are not going to pan out to be the most successful, and sometimes it's for external reasons as well. But every time I experience like failure in my life, and of course I'm young, I haven't experienced a lot of them. But I mean, I tried to, and I have. And like I feel in my most optimistic day, I feel like it's like a flirt. You're flirting with the impossible, you know, a little. And it's hard in the moment, but then you look back on it and there's a lot of learnings and wonderful things that come out of it. So out of like, I don't want to use the word failures, but I think out of these experiences that went less right, what were the learnings that you had?
The basic learning is what you said. I think success is a bad teacher, and we learn most from failure. Every setback is an opportunity to grow. That's something you learn. You're not aware of. The first failures, you can call it failures, of things that don't go the way you want, don't feel good, of course. You always want to think things go the way you want. But with the time, you realize that at the end, they make you grow. Yeah. So right now, I would say expect life to be a mix of success and failure, and take every failure as with gratitude as an opportunity to grow. Yeah, and enjoy, of course, the success, but don't fight against the fact that you will fail in certain things, in small and big things. It's to embrace them as kind of this is your most important training units in life. When you go to the gym, yeah, the harder the weight, the more weight you lift, the harder you train, the better your body gets. It's the same with the mental health and the resilience as an entrepreneur. Yeah, the harder the challenge is, and the tougher it is to become an entrepreneur or to become successful or to get done what you want, the better you get out of it. Yeah, so you're ready for, hey, what's next? Yeah, so I think I learned, and I'm not saying that I was good at it all the time. I'm not saying that I'm perfect at it right now, but I would say I became much better in accepting failure, accepting problems, and not calling them problems, rather challenges, and saying, hey, I'm an entrepreneur, and challenges are part of the game, and give it to me because this is why I'm decided to be an entrepreneur. It's something beautiful. It's part of the game. It's not something I'm fighting against. It's okay. I try to avoid it, but when it happens, here I am. You know. So that really is good because then you have another mindset. If you suffer from failure, if you suffer from things not going the way you want, first of all, it's stupid because it's happening anyway, so you can't avoid it. But if you suffer, your brain becomes into kind of a victim mode and kind of like flee, fight mode where you're not very clever, not creative. If you say, hey, there's something went wrong, so what can I do to get out of it? You become more like the creator, the problem solver, the one who says like, okay, what can my brain do? How can I think about it to solve that? Rather than just saying, oh, the poor me, what did I do wrong? Da, 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 no? So it's really a kind of mind change to embrace failures. And it's what I recommend to everybody. Accept that failure is part of the game. And when they come, of course, do your best to try to avoid it. But when they come, accept them and go for it. Solve them.
Yeah, that's awesome. When I hear you say stuff like that, it gets me excited because, like I was telling my friend the other day, he was having like a hard day and he was feeling very anxious and he cried, and he just called me crying like it was a very feeling very deep emotion, and he didn't know what was going on, and I just like I was hearing him and I was just thinking that like you're experiencing one hell of a day because in the morning we were together, he was laughing and now he's crying, and then he came over and he was reflective, so he was experiencing this like cumulative emotions, and then he goes to bed and is like, this was one hell of a day. It was weird, but it was one hell of a day. And I feel like kind of that's what being an entrepreneur maybe is, right?
Absolutely. And crying is also okay. I mean, any depending on the failure, on the size of what goes wrong, it hurts, of course, and you need to give that space. Yeah, so suffering needs space. Don't push it away. It's there. But after that, there's a recovery phase, and then you stand up like a boxer. You get a punch in the face, you fall down, you stand up again, and then you wish up the blood, and it goes on. It's nice, and I think that's what makes life beautiful. And for most of the people, it's a better life than this 9 to 5 routine life where everything goes exactly the way it's structured. When any small thing doesn't go the way, you get nervous, you get like angry. I think that's not what I at least I'm looking for. Mm-hmm. Life is an adventure, and look at any movie. I mean, movies are not just starting with everything great and then ending with everything great, and all the times everything great. Movies are always like this as well. Yeah, somebody starts a hero journey, then something fails, and then another thing fails, and then he solves it at the end. You have a happy end. That's how life should be, I think.
Yeah, we're all main characters in our own movie, right? Exactly. And everything's going on. Yeah, I love to think like that too. I love movies because you get to kind of experience someone else's life through their eyes. It's weird. It's such, I don't know, it's such a powerful emotion. Whenever I see, like sometimes I just want to see a dumb movie and that's it, just because my mind wants to kind of not reflect, just relaxed. But when you see like a really well-crafted movie with a deep story, you're kind of like, there's this level of excitement towards life because, wow, he did so much and everything happened and they fell in love. Wow, I want to do that kind of stuff too.
Exactly. So, that's beautiful. And I think it even helps as an entrepreneur to see yourself as an actor within your role, a role within your life, or with at least in the entrepreneur's life. That's not all. You have other roles in your life. I'm a father, I'm a husband, and have other roles. But when you're an entrepreneur and you see yourself like, this is like you're an actor, yeah, and you do your best to play the role, and everything happens what happens. But when at a certain moment you can just go out of the stage and then do something else, and when you're out of the stage, whatever happened on the stage doesn't matter anymore. So it's super important as well to be the observer of yourself as an entrepreneur, not to become identified by the entrepreneur. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Otherwise, what this guy said, like he was empty and unemployed, happens. If you identify yourself with entrepreneur, then depending if your company works well or not, you feel good or not good. Just say, hey, that's just a performance, it's entrepreneur, but I have also other areas in my life where I'm, as a father or whatever, when I'm closing my laptop because I'm done with my last meeting today, I go out of stage. I'm not an entrepreneur anymore. I'm now another role. I'm the father, yeah. And behind all these roles, there's the observer. We call it consciousness, yeah. So you are not Joao. You're not the guy who does the podcast right now. You're in this role, but you're so much more, and that's so nice and so liberating. Yeah. To understand that it's all at the end like a movie. It's all a game, yeah. What really matters is waking up, that we breathe, that we have something to eat, that we have fun, we smile, we laugh, we have friends, we love. Yeah, that's what really matters. The rest is all a game.
Mm-hmm. Is that why you have because a lot of people on LinkedIn, when you search someone up, you can see their name, and then below it you can see what they do. So a CEO, no. But you have a human. I'm a human, or like a human.
Yes.
Is that why?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I like to remind everybody that we are all humans. That is. It's called the oneness, no? As humans, we all, even with animals, but we all we have something very important in common, the most important in common. We all breathe, we all want to reproduce, we all need to eat, we are born at a certain point, we die later at a certain point, and that's all the same. But then you're a man, you're a woman, you're a German, you're an Italian, Portuguese, or whatever, you have a Christian or a Muslim, whatever, but this is just roles. It's something that coincidentally came to you because you were born in a certain city with certain parents. But when you just look at everybody as a human first, it doesn't matter that you are much younger than me or they came from another country. We have so much in common. First, instead of saying, I'm different than you, I'm more successful, less successful, I'm more beautiful, less beautiful, whatever, that's all labeling. I'm saying, so what do we have in common? We are loving humans. Yeah, we can connect directly with each other. And then out of this connection, we can exchange experiences from all different perspectives in life, and that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons that I feel that podcasts and conversations, like long form, where there isn't really a script, and people are just having a conversation, because like you, for example, you have a beautiful family, you're successful, you feel, by the way that you speak, I can tell that you're happy in life. And someone hearing this is probably, this is exactly what I want. Like, I want to be at that position. And then when they hear you say things like the step backs that you had, or things that went less good, they try and, instead of like just being so impressed by you and kind of putting you in a pedestal, they start finding some relatability. And, oh, he's a human, he's exactly like me. And then it gives them kind of the courage to go ahead and try something for themselves too, and get so excited. So whenever I listen to a podcast, I'm like, I listen to like this story and I'm like, wow, like I can do that kind of stuff too, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm always a bit hesitating when somebody says you're a successful entrepreneur. Um, I could say for myself, I'm successful because right now I have achieved what I wanted. But many people look at me as a successful entrepreneur because of the companies I built, the size of the company, maybe the exit. And that's also only part of the story. Yeah, I also had my failures. So I wouldn't say that this, what many people label on me and kind of success, is a real success. The real success is just living the life you want and having clarity what's important in your life. In my case, it's my wife, my family, and having the freedom to wake up every morning and create something or decide what I want to do. And being an entrepreneur is the best way to do that. And and I think the success is not, again, about the money, about the size of the company. So you have to be careful with this labeling, and because then at the end you admire somebody for something that you think that he is, that you think makes him happy, yeah, but it's not really that. There's many people who are failing but very happy, and many people who have huge companies but they're not happy. I met so many even billionaires who are super unhappy.
Yeah.
And you would say, wow, it's great, he's so successful, beautiful wife, maybe it's the fifth wife already, but anyway. So let's be careful with comparing each other. That's why a human, we don't compare. As a human, we are the same. Anything else is just has the effect of either you make yourself smaller or you make yourself better than the others. But that's not a way to connect with people. Connecting is by finding what you have in common.
Yeah. I find that whenever I hear someone give advice on something, it comes from an experience that they had, and they reached kind of an enlightenment. So they reached this conclusion. So they experienced this, like, for example, I'm having a problem now, and you give me an advice on it. And a lot of that advice comes from experience, comes from something. I went through the same thing. I know exactly what it is. And this is my conclusion for it. And in 2021, your life kind of took a pause, and what I've heard you described as a special awakening. Could you tell me about that experience?
Yes. And I call it a burnout. I think that's something that we should just name as this. And the burnout, I think many people have a burnout. In my case, it came for me, very unexpected. I have to say that my wife and some closer friends saw it coming. And first of all, it was the most terrible thing that happened to me, because from one day to the other, I became depressed. I couldn't laugh anymore. I didn't like what I do. I didn't know why I wake up. I couldn't work anymore. Just I woke up and it was empty. Like, I didn't know why. It took me 4 months. I had to restructure the companies. I had to give away my responsibility to other people because I couldn't take decisions anymore. I was just like unable to be the person I was before. From one day I was just like a different person. So what happened is, that's what now we come to the awakening. No, at the end it was an awakening, but it was a very tough awakening. What happened was, before this happened, I was working so hard on 1 or 2 projects while I had 4 kids already, and I had so much responsibility on my shoulders. I tried to be there for everybody, and I tried to solve any kind of problem. So, all that, there was COVID, there was very tough challenges for many companies. So the same was for mine. And as always, with my spirit, I said, I can take it, no worries. I will take care of it. Everything will be good. But sometimes things are not good. So I took more and more responsibility, and then I tried to work until 2 in the morning to solve everything. And my battery just got empty. So my body just said, like, hey, you took much more of me as a body as my reserve. I had some reserves that you can You can sleep less and you can work more, but at a certain point, you're just empty.
Yeah.
So when you're empty, when you use all your reserves, which means you use the ability, we all know that that stress is something positive. When you are stressed, first of all, the body gives you some hormones, some things that you can run faster or you can do certain things. But if you use that every day for a long time, then the body's not able even to produce that extra power. So when this happens, in my case, when everything is empty, then some body functions stop working. The body functions, for example, serotonin, dopamine, and melatonin, which are very, very important. Melatonin is for sleep, so getting tired and sleeping. Serotonin, dopamine is for your happiness and for feeling like joy.
Yeah.
And it's just not there anymore. So your body doesn't produce it anymore. That means you're depressed because you don't feel something positive anymore. And then you cannot sleep even. So you're all awake and think about what's happening to me. And and then this awakening was like when I tried to find out what happened to me, I found out that I was so focused on this problem solving of this one company because I was just like, I need to solve that, that my perception, my consciousness was like, this is me, my life, So when it didn't happen, I thought like, I'm not existing anymore, and I have to nurture other areas of my life again. I have to be more aware of the other things, and try to avoid that this problem, which was at the end not a big problem when you look at the whole thing from me, but when you really go close to the problem, it's all you see, So it's like literally like when you, like a cloud, you look at the sky maybe is blue, my sky was blue, but there was a black cloud there, and I was getting closer and closer and was in the cloud suddenly, and everything was so dark, I didn't see anymore the rest of the life. So the awakening was like, this burnout took me totally out, and then suddenly I saw from the distance, hey, this was just a black cloud. There's so much blue sky, and let me go back and be aware of the blue sky and nurture that, and then just take the cloud as something that comes and goes, and it's not really making a difference in your life. So my awakening was it's also spiritual, to understand that you shouldn't identify yourself with one company or one project. You have to always make sure that you also understand your essence, that just by breathing, you can be happy. You don't need any external factor to bring happiness. You don't need to build a company. You don't need to buy big things. You can just be happy without anything. So, and that was so liberating. So, to find this. So this was my biggest failure, I would say, and personally in my journey, the hardest, toughest time, but by far my biggest learning. I'm so grateful now that it happened to me. It was like, so now my perception of life totally changed. And I'm humble because I know that it can happen anytime. So don't be aware that every moment you're good, be grateful for it. It can always change from one moment to the other. And understood that life is not only about succeeding, being a good father, a good husband, and a good entrepreneur. Life is so much more, and so many things are given that you don't need to do anything, and they're just beautiful.
Yeah. And what kind of things did you do to get over that? Is there any like exercises, like meditation? Some people use that to get to the present moment. What kind of things did you do?
Yeah, so that's again a good question, because that's also mainly the reason why I do this podcast or when I'm a speaker. In my case, I needed this awakening. I needed this falling down and getting really a big hit in my face. But I think it's not necessary. I think with some of the techniques I will now explain you, and the awareness of what I try to transmit as a young entrepreneur, you can solve a lot of these situations, and you can avoid to get into this. Because even though it's my biggest learning, I wouldn't recommend to anybody to go there, because it's really tough. And I've experienced then later, because I got into this kind of burnout stuff, and people talked to me that there was people who were suiciding, people who couldn't go back to work anymore. So it's not always ending like in my case. In my case was positive, so I could get out of it. So I think the most important is to understand that when we are born, we are like any animal. We are as a human. We just when you look at a baby can smile and cry without any reason. Yeah, it doesn't need money or success or whatever. It needs love, of course, and sometimes needs to eat. But as a being, you have everything you need to be happy and to smile and what it is. So then, when you become educated, you get to school and your parents educate you, say, okay, you need to this and that, this is good, this is bad, you need to have an education, you need to have a house, you need to have this. So you get conditioned, and this conditioning tells you that you need this and this to be happy. So suddenly, from just naturally being happy or not happy by the most basic things, having food, oh, I'm happy, you can't try to start thinking that, no, I need these things to be happy. I need to have my exam now. I need to have my car. I need to have this company. This company needs to pay my bill, whatever. So you more and more create a kind of happiness. This is constructed by the mind. It's not a natural happiness anymore. So the mind becomes, let's say, the storytelling of your mind becomes your identification. Yeah. So you think like, I need this and that to be happy, and if this and this happens, I'm not happy. And you leave the ability to just be independent from this story. So the technique of meditation, or let's say meditation in the sense of the ability to stop focusing on the thinking mind. Yeah, just on the breath, for example. If you do a meditation, normally everything starts with like breathing in, breathing out. Mm-hmm. So when you breathe, in this moment, you concentrate on your breath. You're breathing all the time, but when you say breathe in, breathe out, in this moment, your focus goes on the breath, goes here. That means you leave for a moment the focus on your thinking. In this moment, you don't think like, do I have to pay this bill, or what's about my company? You only focus on your breath. Yeah. So all the exercises that can do with sports, can do with cooking, with singing, whenever you do something where you focus on the present moment, you focus on something that your senses realize. Yeah, you focus on like looking at you now, like really looking at you, like your eye color, your t-shirt you wear, or listening to the sound of the neighbor and just hear knocking. Whenever you do something in the present moment, you disconnect from the storytelling of your brain. And the more you do this, it's a training, you more go back to your essence. You more get independent from any external factor, because most of the unhappiness that we have is just mind constructed. Yeah, if people say like I'm not happy, you say why? Yeah, because this happened to me, that happened to me, but it happened to you in the past. It's not happening right now. You're not aware of right now. All is good. Yeah. So all the suffering and my suffering was just coming from only identifying with my thoughts, with the storytelling. I don't know if you understand that.
Yeah, I'm blown away.
So practicing, I started in this time where I was depressed, and I had a therapist. She said like, go cooking, gardening, and walk through the forest. But when you walk through the forest, connect with the trees. Yeah, don't look at the trees like, this is what such a tree, and describe them. Just like connect with the tree. Connect with the green leaves. Connect with the air you breathe. When you cook, don't think of, I'm so bad, whatever happened yesterday, tomorrow. Just look at the carrot that you cut, how beautiful it is. When you throw it in, smell it, how nice it is. When you go gardening, respect the flowers. Like, wow, how beautiful is this? The like putting the flower there and it grows. That's so beautiful. Yeah. And all this practice, same as the classical meditation, where you breathe in, breathe out, you close your eyes. Whenever you succeed to be present and to focus on something that happens right now, something that nature has given us, you train yourself to disconnect from your thinking, and you don't become a victim of your thinking. Yeah. Then when you come back to your thinking, you can use it as a tool, of course. Thinking is good, but you're not obsessed by your thoughts. You're not like, the thoughts don't own you. Yeah. So I think this is a big, what I understood after that, and before I didn't. Yeah, before I was a victim of my own thoughts all the time. I woke up with ideas, to-dos, thoughts, blah, 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 and I went to bed and like, this is bad, tomorrow happens this and whatever. And now I have my routines where I'm disconnecting. I try to describe it like, let's say you're a boxer, mm-hmm. and you go into the ring. And when you fight, your muscles get tired, of course. Yeah, let's say the brain is the same. Like when you think, your brain has to fight. It has to work all the time. Yeah? But if you don't stop thinking, it gets tired. But you keep thinking, keep thinking, keep thinking. And the boxer goes out of the ring, gets fresh, gets some water, whatever, and then goes back to the ring and can fight again.
Yeah.
So this meditation or whatever you do it consciously being present is the same thing. You give your brain a little break, and then you come back and you use the brain again for whatever you want to do. And as the last thing is, has become so important in these days now, in the last 10 years, because compared to, let's say, my parents' generation, where my father came home at 6 after work, he put his suitcase down, and then he didn't have a mobile phone, no internet. He also didn't have to take care of the kids, which I don't say it's good or bad, but he was just like, he could be himself, he could be free.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, both women and men, they have to be good parents, good entrepreneurs or managers or whatever at work, be successful in work. They have the mobile phone all the time in the break, on the loo, in the metro. They look at the mobile phone. At night, they check their emails. Yeah, then they look Netflix. So the brain is consistently busy, and it gets just tired. We have to give our brain a break. And the best way to give our brain a break is to understand and be aware of the present moment. Right now, the present moment. Stillness.
Wow. This was because I've always struggled, and I think everyone does with, because that being in the present moment is where we need to be, and that's where the happiness really lies. But I never found a good solution for it. I never found something, or at least it was never explained to me this way, so simply that I don't know, maybe it's felt in the cameras too. But the way you describe simple things, just looking at this flower right here, and just the simplest things, because sometimes I'm walking down the street and I do the same route every day to school or something, and I never look around, and there's so many things happening.
Exactly.
My goodness. And maybe a meditation practice of me walking to school one day could be start focusing on this side of the street and whatever's happening there. Oh my God.
It's there's some spiritual teachers that I follow and I love. One is Eckhart Tolle, another is Krishnamurti. They say exactly this. This is what you just described is a walking meditation. So instead of saying, no, I'm here, I go to school, so my goal is to go from A to B. And until I'm at B, it's just a mean to be there. So you lose, let's say it's 20 minutes, yeah? You lose 20 minutes of your life because you think, okay, the only thing I want is to be there. But what happens in these 20 minutes? There's so many things. If you're present and you look at everybody walking by, you breathe the air, you look in the sky, then these 20 minutes becomes the most pleasant moment of your day. Mm-hmm. It's present.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, because sometimes I have to walk 20 minutes and I can't waste these 20 minutes. So what do I have to do to make myself distracted or just have some sort of distraction? So I put music or I do something, but even that's me not enjoying those 20 minutes. It's a means to an end. I'm listening to music just so I can get there. It's taking a drug so I can walk 100 meters. But that's so cool.
Yeah, I tell you what, your brain is like a monster. You know this game of the monsters who do like Pac-Man, the game, and the fact that you want to put music on your headphones is because your monster brain needs food. That needs don't give me food. I need something to do, and you need to stop that. No, I give you nothing. You have to learn to relax, brain, because the brain wants always something. It's just take the mobile phone out. When you're waiting, take the mobile phone out. Call somebody, do something. But the brain is not smart. It's not wise. Yeah. The brain is just a machine that wants to go on, and you're the owner of the brain. You're not your brain. You have to help the brain to relax and say, no, I don't give you the music now. I give you presence. Yeah, I look around and I just observe without labeling. You don't have to work, just relax. I'm just enjoying from A to B. When I'm in the waiting line, how many times you pull out the phone and do this? If you're at the doctor, everybody does it in the metro, yeah? Keep it, be conscious, say, no, I don't do it. I observe everybody. You will see 90% of the people look at the mobile phone and you will see wow, that's what our generation does now. They look at the mobile phone all the time. Their monster brains are always demanding, give me more food. Yeah. I need something new. And then the worst thing is social media and news, the food you get is bad food. It's junk food. Yeah, what you put in your brain is really junk. Not good music, but if you look at social media or Trump news or Putin news, whatever, you not only keep your brain busy, you feed it with junk, yeah, which is bad for your brain. It's like eating chips all the time or sweet. Yeah, it's not good for you to do this.
But maybe when you eat chips and you eat a lot of fast food, you can see the damage that it does to your body. But with the mind, you can't.
Exactly.
Silent killer.
It's exactly like this.
Christ. Wow. Thank you. Thank you for that, because I think I'm gonna change. I'm gonna try to, at least, to try and change my perspective on it. That's really, really cool. Thank you. Okay, so you have this really badass perspective to AI, because you have modelmanagement.com. It's almost like an Airbnb for models, right? Is that a correct way to describe it?
Yeah. The fact is, it's humans, and it's hard to compare booking a human for work with an apartment.
Mm-hmm.
It has more complications. But yeah, it's kind of a platform that brings two sides together, the buyer and the seller, or whatever you want to call it. It's a mix between a job platform like InfoJobs and Airbnb, I would say. But yeah.
No, it's really cool. And there's a lot of needs for it. But I imagine now with AI, I can't even picture what models are feeling, because these big fashion brands, they're doing these campaigns, and most of them are already using 100% AI models. So these models are perfect. They're custom made. Everything was built. Like, people are acting like they're God or something. They're making these wonderful creatures, and the models, they're like sitting at home and they're like, wow, I can't compete with this. There's no flaws. So they're probably feeling horrible inside, and they're really scared. And a lot of people, they see this, especially you, because you have the platform that can help them get these jobs. And the way you faced it's really cool. You didn't run against it, and I feel like you went straight at it. And could you tell me a little bit about your approach?
Of course. So first of all, from my almost 30 years experience of entrepreneurship and also in tech, things go fast and change fast, but not as fast as we all think. So I think acting or reacting with fear as a model or as somebody in this industry is always the wrong decision. And anyway, you cannot change it. So fear is always, I think, a bad way to react on things. Yeah, fear is good when somebody holds a gun at you or a tiger comes up. Then it's good to fear and run. But for these kind of things, I think it's understanding what's happening, keeping calm, because it doesn't change. There's still a lot of model jobs out there, a lot of normal production. It's not like from today to tomorrow everybody's now doing AI. It's a slow process, actually. But there's a lot of noise out there. So you see LinkedIn posts with amazing AI-generated videos, and it looks like they did it in 2 minutes. It's easy, and now nobody needs a model and a photographer anymore. But when you ask the people who did it, they worked for weeks on it, and they did a lot of mix and fakes, whatever. So keep calm. Yeah, the industry changes, and try to prepare. Look at it. What does it mean for me? And then make a plan. How can you embrace the new technology, and instead of trying to fight against it, because it comes. AI is there. So the same, we did the same. I have a saying in my company for these kind of situations is when the wind blows against you, you can hide behind the wall to not have the wind in the face, or you can build a windmill. And I went for the windmill. So it's like, what is the opportunity here for us as a platform of models? And I saw an opportunity that if companies use humans in an AI-generated content, video or photo, for their commercial use, there might be legal issues. Because if you build your model yourself, you said like you play like God, first of all, ethically and from consumer side, that's not seen very well, especially when you have like only beautiful, perfectly built women and men, and the normal person, like that's not me anymore. But also legally, when you look at the companies like OpenAI, Flux, Nano Banana, whatever, who do this, they have trained models. And how do they train their model to build a human? Of course, because they've trained them with thousands of humans. So at the end, you create a human that is a result of many other humans. It's only a copy of it, but just mixing together. Same as nature. If a man and a woman meet and they want to have a child, a new human comes out. The same with AI. So the question is, who owns the rights of this created human. And if somebody, let's say, would have a TV commercial and the creator of the AI model would describe somebody like you without knowing you. It's like, I want this guy, look a bit Portuguese, good looking, whatever, sporty, this age. And then suddenly a human-alike avatar comes out who looks like you. And they do an advertising, and then and people say, "Hey, Joao, I've seen you in the new condom advertiser or whatever, Viagra. How comes?
Well.
Is that Viagra for 20s?" And you say, "No, it's not me." And then you look at it. Oh, it looks like me. You can sue the company because, like, hey, how do I know that you didn't copy my Instagram profile and just told the AI copy this guy and do it? Because you can do that. You can just do it, and they can't because they have no proof. They can just say, "No, OpenAI did it." But how did OpenAI did it? You don't know. So we found this legal thing, and then we said, okay, then we, as the platform with the biggest database of models, we give our models a new way to monetize their modeling. Yeah. So instead of only going to shoot or making content at home, now they can sell the image rights of their face. So a company who wants to do it legally, ethically well, and wants to use AI-generated content can just look at our database and search for somebody with the same attributes that I just described you, and then Joao pops up and say, okay, Joao, if I pay you €1,000, can I use your face for my TV commercial? Yeah, of course. Then you upload your photo on Nana Banana, whatever it is, you do the commercial, and then suddenly Joao is in the commercial, gets €1,000, they have the legal paper, and that's it. And that was a good decision, because now it's totally the trend. When I was interviewed 2 years ago and said this is the direction to go. Then we decided to offer this to our models. We bought a little company in Germany who was specialized, called Stoodio.AI, to dress AI models so that they look real. If you have a garment, so it looks like wearing the garments. And now Zalando, H&M, and many companies also go with this digital twin like idea. They just say, okay, that's the way to go. If you use humans in advertising with AI created or generated, we need to have the legal permission of the model we use. Plus, they found out that it's also good to combine it. So some of our customers, they have a model who maybe does some Instagram content in real, but then for the e-commerce pictures, we take the twins and we produce the images of the t-shirts with the AI twin.
Wow, that's amazing. And I wanted to thank you, because a lot of times when you hear about AI, everyone gets super scared, and the videos online, all of it is, we're doomed, your profession is going to die, this is going to happen, and then people get very nervous, and it affects the way they live life, their well-being. And it's really nice to hear some hopeful things coming out, and people trying to, because things are going to happen. We're going to have to adapt eventually. And the way that you just said, I have very little knowledge about the modeling industry, but it's such a cool way, because it's evolving in a way that the models are still getting paid for their work, but maybe they don't have to go there, and they can do two jobs at the same time without having to leave their house. So that's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, you can of course sell it like this, and it's true for some of the models. They are fortunate. They don't even have to go to castings. My wife, 30 years ago, she was walking through Paris and New York all day, like really 10 hours, and going to 10 different castings, showing up. And still, this is happening today in many modeling jobs. So you have to go, and then you get one job out of 20 castings. And with this technology, your face does the casting, and the customer says, okay, I take this face, and it pays you. Yes, for many models, they like to go to shootings. I wouldn't say that if I could choose between a life where AI does what it does right now and a life without AI, I'm not sure if I would choose a life with AI.
Okay.
But that's not my choice. So the thing is, just accept what is. Why fight against it? I can't avoid it. Yeah. So we have to always deal with the situation. And this argument you just said, like my job dies or whatever, I mean, life is not endless. We get born and die, and everything is like limited time. So don't try to hold on things all the time. Let's like, okay, this was the area where I did this job, and it was possible to do it this way. I'm a good photographer. I earned money with it for 10 years. Now AI comes, things change, so I have to adapt. Yeah, I can find another way to work. And a photographer, for example, he's not only paid because he knows how to deal with a camera. The main thing of a photographer is that he understands has an idea of an image that he creates. He has a vision of the image, and he can do the same with AI. He just goes on the screen, use an AI tool, and then he creates something that is amazing looking, instead of a camera. So there's always opportunities. And I think the human mistake, especially we Europeans, I think are worse as the Americans or Chinese. We always try to hold on things and be afraid of changing and transformation instead of embracing. It's for me, it's as I said, the advantage of life. Changes are amazing if you embrace them. If you try to avoid them, it's hard, it's tough. But it's part of the life. You cannot avoid them.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your excitement and for making us all live here more excited about life and just the adventure of it all. So thank you for being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And you did a really great job preparing.
Thank you. Thank you. We tried to. Thank you.
I liked it. Thanks.
'Cause that man is trouble, you best beware. And though deep down, I know I might be headed for teardrops. Now that you got me started, I just can't stop.